Okay, we are live.
Got it. All right, good afternoon, everyone. It is exactly 2:04 p.m. on September 25th, and the NLA Board of Directors meeting is officially called to order. First, I would like to welcome all of the members that are joining via the live stream. Thank you for joining us and dedicating some of your time to learn more about what is happening with the NLA. We have a lot to cover today, so let's get started. Sarah, please do the roll.
Yep. Maya Adrine,
Here.
Robert Alexander,
Sure.
Brett Barinholtz,
Here.
Kevin Brewer is excused, Sean Glasgow,
Here.
Carl Gunther,
Here.
Tiffany Hinton,
Here.
Kevin Illingworth,
Here.
Joe Ironi,
Here.
I believe Kim is excused as well, Jason Kaplan,
Here.
Kareem Machi, Brent Maitland is excused, Tracy Raymer,
Here.
Jeff Rose,
Here.
Tim Rose,
Here.
Tracy Salinger,
Here.
Doug Schwartz,
Yeah.
Jason Chernow,
Here.
Drew Siciliano,
Here.
Barry Trabb,
Here.
Dave Uziel is excused, Rick Versace,
Here.
Chris Weiss,
Here.
Kyle Hammerschmidt,
Here.
and I am here. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you, Sarah.
Mhm.
This time, we would like to open it up to our vendor directors and show partner to share any updates that they may have. So why don't we just alphabetically go with Drew Siciliano? Drew, would you like to go from the ABC companies?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, everybody. Good seeing you all. From the ABC side of the business, obviously, as you all know, we are in the minibus business as well as the coach business, as well as parts and sales and service. I'm sure you're all aware with the transition of ownership of Von Hohl going to VDL. We've been in a little bit of flux for the past 120 odd days. I'm sure you all are all most up to date, but ABC now is wholly owned by the Cornell family, 100%. 38% was previously owned by the Von Hohl family. Now ABC is fully owned by the Cornell family. We have a 10-year agreement in place with VDL to continue distributing throughout North America the Von Hohl Motor Coach brand, as well as some potential future products, which I believe I've discussed in the past here. The good news out of that whole transitionary period from the ownership level is now we're starting to receive on a regular cadence our motor coach deliveries from the manufacturing facility out of Belgium and Macedonia. We've taken delivery since the ownership change of our first set of 21 buses from BDL. So they're producing buses, they're pushing them through the line, and we're starting to deliver them. We have availability on the motor coach side if you were to order today, as soon as early spring. We do have some stock units available to sell between now and end of year. And then on the minibus side, as you all know as well, we rep many of those brands such as Turtle Top, New England Wheels, Coach and Equipment, Hometown, Trolleys, etc. Those obviously are standard lead times, but for the most part are into early next year as well. Our parts inventory, especially on the big bus, have now settled at normal levels and normal lead times, considering that ownership change as well. From a macro industry side, we're in the middle of regulatory change in the rollover standard on the big bus stuff, which all bus deliveries in the new calendar year must meet the rollover standard. And then coming fast and furious in the 25 and 26 years are the integration of the new Cummins EPA emission standards and the X10 motor into that bus versus what we have as standard is the X12, as well as MCI J4500 has the Cummins X12. We'll both be transitioning into that X10. So as you all know, when you do emissions changes or emission standards increase, that first iteration of that motor comes with a little bit of ambiguity on cost, ambiguity on performance, uptime, etc. So I just would like you all to be cognizant of that. And from a legislative side, obviously there are more and more states trying to potentially tag along with CARB and EPA and the standards across the country, with the West Coast leading the charge with Washington, Oregon, and California. And I believe next year, Massachusetts is holding firm. So something to be cognizant of. Obviously, if there's any other deeper conversation or further questions that you may have, I'm always available to the group. So if there's ever anything you all need, please ask. But thank you all.
All right, thank you very much, Drew. Next up is our newest vendor director. Welcome to your first meeting, Barry Trabb. Would you like to talk, Barry?
Oh, sure. Good afternoon, everybody. Barry Trabb, Complete Fleet Livery Sales. I thank everybody for voting me on. I'm very excited to be a part of the NLA once again and add whatever I can to the board. Currently, as far as products are concerned, there is a new discount with the Volvo S90. $3,000 just was applied, so it brings the price down to $46,495. And then along on the Lincoln side, we have the new Lincoln Nautilus that's completely redesigned, as well as the Lincoln Aviator. Both of those units are in stock, and along with some Expeditions as well. And we're very excited that the Navigator is going to be redesigned as well. So that's going to be hitting us probably sometime in February. So if anybody has any questions, you can reach me offline or text me. But we do have product, and I'm always willing to help out wherever we can.
Hey, Barry, I do have a quick question, though. I just saw a big thing where Ford's going to have a big recall on those motors, and it seemed like some of those were coming from the Nautilus. Is that true or no?
Which model year was that?
I just saw it. It's them coming out saying that there was a big, huge recall for motors from Ford. I don't know if anyone else saw that.
I have yet to see it.
Specifics for you, but I'll see which ones they were. But
Okay. Thanks, Kev.
Anybody else? All right.
Yeah, Barry, I've got a question. Two questions, I guess. On the Volvos, are you hearing anything about tariffs affecting, like, I don't know if you guys are having any tariffs applied to Chinese manufactured cars? Because I think that's happening here in Canada, and it's creating a problem for getting those cars.
Okay.
And secondly, I heard that the town car is going to make a resurgence, that they're going to start making those again. Like
Well, I've been hearing.
Continental or whatever it is they're going to call it.
I haven't heard that, but there's been rumors since the town car went away that it's coming back.
Mhm.
So hard to envision that it is coming back, or the Continental. It'd be great if it does, but as far as I know, it's just rumor, and it's been circulating for 20 years since
Yeah,
the
'cause
town
I
car
heard
did.
that from a Ford guy the other day.
Interesting. Well, I'll research that. And as far as the tariffs, I'm not aware of what the Canadian tariffs may be. But if you send me an email, I can certainly reach out to my corporate contact at Volvo to find out what the challenges are, and if the tariffs are affecting you guys, or what we can do about it.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, Joe, did you hear that from a Ford dealer or somebody at corporate?
No, it was, more on the dealer level.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Barry.
Yes,
And
Brett.
last but not least is Chris Weiss, our show partner from Chauffeur Driven. Chris, would you like to say a few things?
Sure. First of all, thanks,
Thank-
Brett, and thanks to the board for inviting me on. Appreciate it greatly. And yeah, just want to quickly talk about the show and a few highlights. Hard to believe it's only 3 weeks away, coming up October 13th through 16th. Excited that it's back at Gaylord National, just outside of DC. So if anyone who's watching hasn't registered, it's super conveniently located and easy to get to. So we welcome any last minute attendance. Keep in mind that the hotel room block is almost at capacity. I think there's some rooms left, but very minimal, which is a really great sign for CD and the NLA and everyone at large. In general, we have some really terrific content lined up, sessions and roundtables. Don't want to give too much away. Can, let Jason and Carl talk about that a little later in the call, I'm sure. But a big shout out to the CDNLA Show Education Committee for all the time, effort, and energy they put in. There's a number of committee members who are on this call right now, and as you all know, everyone just steps up tremendously for the shows and for the content. We also, our mentoring program is filling up pretty quickly. We're past half capacity. I think we're close to 60% right now. And we slightly changed around the format to add more mentors and have fewer people at each table so that it was a little bit more intimate. And, that's running 11 years and just a really popular part of and useful part of the show. Affiliate Central's running again, as it always does, another staple of the show. We're at like just over 60 tables or so. I think Jess is going to cap it right around 65. Working to fill those last ones, but that's tracking really nicely as well. We revamped our association summit with input from Kyle and from Rick and others to really focus on the insurance crisis. It's going to be more so open to everyone as opposed to kind of being an association leader centric type of event. So we're hoping to get some really nice traction with that. Excited about our first ever casino night party that we're doing, thanks to Sarah, the concept of Sarah Mercer. We know how much everyone loves to gamble, and so figuring we'll keep everyone at the actual party as opposed to splintering off and doing other things. So we're excited about that. It should be really fun. Show floor is looking extremely solid, just filling the last few spaces, but it's expanded from where we were last fall, and which had expanded from where we were at the previous fall. So it's continuing to go in the right direction. Attendance is also tracking right along the same lines. It's right in line with where we were the last couple of shows in the fall. And with the hotel room block being full, sold out and at capacity, we're expecting some additional last minute, because the numbers, typically we wouldn't be at full capacity with the room block, but have attendance tracking where it's at. So yeah, we're definitely expecting to see a spike at the last minute, especially with the East Coast centralized location too. Some other events that we're doing, we have the Women in the Industry event. We have a nice guest speaker. The Maryland Limousine Association and the Virginia Limousine Association are going to be hosting a co-branded meeting on Tuesday. And yeah, we just have a really full slate of great events and great people. And I've had a lot of first timers the last 4 or 5 events that we put together. We're really expecting it to continue on. Just want to give a quick shout out and of thank you to our title sponsor Volvo, to the one and only Jess Pavlo, and to, of course, the hardworking team of Kyle and Sarah behind the scenes, working hand in hand with us to, put our best foot forward every show. And so I hope to see everyone soon. And I thank you all for the time, and thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Chris. Great information. And as Chris said, if you haven't signed up for the show yet, please do so. It's coming up just in a few weeks. All right. Thanks. Let's move on.
I had one quick question for Chris.
Go ahead,
Just one question. So Chris, I just want to understand about the room block. You said like the room block, that's discounted rates. I mean, people shut out. There's still rooms available in hotels, and sure not.
Yeah. So
You don't know the
discounted rates, the room block is really close to capacity. I think there is some availability, but it's limited. That doesn't mean that the hotel's completely sold out, or I'll have to find out that.
Right.
But there is also other stays other places that are within walking distance if we do completely fill the block,
Right.
and the hotel completely fills out.
So if you're on the fence, you should book your room now. That's
Yeah,
what that means,
for
right?
sure.
Otherwise, you're going to pay the full rate, right?
Not only
Okay.
the rate, but the convenience of being within the property. Sometimes
Off property.
and there's no hotels that are going to be less expensive within the area, but sometimes the convenience factor far outweighs saving a few shekels to then have to go back and forth and back and forth. So, I always recommend staying at the property, of course.
All right. Well, thank you very much again, Chris. Let's move on to the approval of minutes. At this time, please draw your attention to the July 17th meeting minutes. Are there any questions or suggested revisions?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the meeting minutes as presented.
Thank you, Carl. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Thank you, Sean. And is there any other discussion on this? Okay, then all in favor of these minutes as presented? Please, you can put your hand up if you're muted.
Aye.
Is there anyone against?
On a Zoom.
Anyone abstain? Okay, so that passes. Thank you very much. Good job, Doug Schwartz.
Thank you. I just hope everybody notices what a great job I'm doing with the minutes.
Yes, you know, it
Spectacular
it
is
has
over.
been noticed, and you are going to get a raise.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Now this is going to take a little while with Rick because we have 4 different things we need to go over. And Rick is our treasurer. He will present the June and July 2024 financial report, as well as the 23 draft financial statements and 990 tax returns. So everybody should have read this over already. And I'm looking for a motion for the June financial report. And does anyone have any questions on that?
Make a motion to accept.
Thank you, Carl. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Sean. Any discussion on the June financial report? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed? Anyone abstain? Okay, that passes. Thank you very much. And now we are on the, do I have a motion to accept the July financial report?
Make a motion to accept the financials as presented.
Thank you, Carl. You know, Carl's not the only one that can do this, but that's okay. But thank you for taking the lead. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I'll go with Sean because he was the loudest again. Any discussion, please? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, that passes. Thank you. Now let's move on to the July 2024 financials are approved. Let's move on to the draft 2023 financials and tax returns. Do I have a motion to accept the draft 2023 NLA financial statements and the 990 tax returns for NLA and the Berkman Fund?
I'll steal it from Carl. I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Sean.
Second.
Second, Carl. Any discussion?
Are you bored, Carl?
No, I actually read through the stuff, but I get it.
You know, he's very good on the Family Feud button. You know, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, that passes. The draft 2023 financial statements and tax returns are approved. Now let's go to new business. We have Florida FLA Association is requesting some funding. So let's, we're going to stick with Rick Versace now. Can you present the FLA's request for funding for the NLA that the NLA received?
Sure. Thank you, Brett, and thank you everybody for giving me the opportunity to talk a little bit about this problem. So as Chris alluded to before, most of the associations are grappling with the problem of insurance. Everybody in the industry is grappling with the problem of insurance being so far out of control. And we're focusing our association summit on ways that we can all collectively work to do something positive about bringing the rates down, getting things under control. Most of you have probably been following the stories about American Transit Insurance Company in New York City. They have been declared insolvent. they insure 64% of the for-hire vehicles in New York City. If they go out, it's going to be a disaster for everybody that operates in the city and anybody that refers a affiliate business to the city. This is just like a tiny, this is just a tiny pimple on the problem, even though it's huge because it's New York City, but it's very symbolic of what's going on with all of us and all our respective cities and respective companies. The problem is that insurance is regulated on a state by state basis. So we did reach out to Cornerstone to try and see what they can do on a national level. And they suggested a number of things. And one of them is for us to put together a coalition of associations, not just within our industry, but outside the industry as well. You know, groups like the American Car Rental Association, the American Ground Transportation Association, the Trucking Association, the American Tort Reform Association, and a host of other associations that are actively working on doing things to prevent the insurance crisis from getting any worse. The major focus of it is tort reform. You know, in most places, the trial lawyers have just pushed these claims to the limits, demanding top limits on every single claim, and you know, breaking the backs of the insurance company, and the insurance companies quite naturally just pass those expenses and costs on to us in the form of higher premiums. So what we're doing here with the Florida Limousine Association is we've kind of taken the lead on working on finding some solutions involving tort reform. And I think I shared with you at the last meeting some of the things that we're working on, like cap on non-economic damages, modify the comparative negligence rules, and a lot of other things that we're talking to about, trying to actually change the law in the state of Florida. Most of it has to do with having some kind of arbitration in place before it goes to trial. If we can get arbitration in place, that means that everything doesn't turn into a lawsuit. It gets arbitrated and it gets results. The results are much less expensive than just having attorneys run rampant over everything. We have a lobbyist in place that has some legislation that they're putting together that's going to be presented to the Florida legislature. And as you know, last year we were successful in Florida in changing the law. This is the second time we did it. We're hoping to be able to accomplish something this time too, but this time it will be regarding insurance reform and tort reform. And our hope is that whatever we pass here will be something that's actionable by some of the other associations in some of the other states. So we're humbly coming before the NLA board, asking for a special dispensation of $20,000 to help us fund the expense of the lobbyists that we're using to change the laws down here. As you recall, last year, the board had approved, maybe 2 years ago now, a $75,000 amount for associations that have a dire crisis, have a problem that we can use to spend on to make it better. We gave GCLA $20,000 last year. And so we're asking if we can get the $20,000 for the FLA so we can continue this fight. And of course, then we'll share those results and what we're doing with all the associations and help them accomplish the same thing so that we create a tsunami of insurance reform across the entire country so that maybe if we're successful, our insurance rates will, if not increase, maybe even go down.
All right.
Thank you for your consideration.
Yeah, thank you, Rick, for presenting that. So basically, Florida FLA is dealing with this insurance and they're taking action right now where they want to try to get some kind of tort reform and they need some money in that fight. Now, we have to remember, we do have a fund set up that we put in $75,000 this year for. The 75 is still there because the money that we gave to, I think, Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the 20 that we gave last year was from a different budget. So
That was from the 2023 budget, yeah.
Yep. So we have the 75 and it's just a matter of, does the board want to approve this for FLA in their fight on this. The other thing that I would just say is that we want to make sure that any and all funds that are received by NLA, we want it to go directly to this issue, to nothing else but this issue, if that's the case. So is there any discussion on this? Would anybody like to ask a question of Rick or make a motion?
I think this is a pretty easy one. Anything that
So I'll
has
make a-
national implications, even if it starts out on a state level, we should be there.
Yeah, I commend Rick for picking up the ball and running with it, because this is an important issue that's the whole country is affected now.
Anybody
Make a
else?
motion to approve the request.
I second that motion.
All right, Maya, second. Carl, of course, is the one making the motion. Is there any other discussion? All right, all in favor of 20,000 onto FLA?
Aye.
All right, anyone opposed? Jeff Rose, anyone abstain? Okay, Robert abstains, Jeff Rose opposes, everybody else approved. So FLA will get 20,000 from that fund that we set up. And all of that will be going directly to fighting this particular issue that the entire country is facing, but they're taking it head on right now.
I
Okay,
didn't realize it was only 20 grand. I want to change my vote. I'll vote for it. I thought it was 75. I misheard.
So- That's all right. So make that no one abstaining. Everyone voted for it, and
Is there something in writing that, Rick, you have that you could forward? I mean, I was a little slow at first because I want to think about it a little bit, what you're trying to achieve. And if there's a way to make you be more successful, then
Absolutely.
I'd like to.
I'd be glad to do that.
No,
I'll share with the whole board.
it was just a lot to kind of digest in a short amount of time.
Absolutely.
all right.
Thank
well,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, board.
Okay. Thank you, and FLA, good luck with that.
Thank you, Brett.
You're welcome. And then Kyle, would you like to talk about the insurance program that we have updated recently?
Sure, or that we're hoping to update. So as everybody knows, we have our NLA health insurance program, which the goal of the program was to offer our member companies a health insurance solution if they didn't have one at hopefully a lower cost than what you might be able to get through your own company, basically pooling the resources and the risk of all of the member companies, so that it's spread across many companies rather than just your own. So we are looking, as a lot of folks know on this call, I don't want to say too much publicly, but the program hasn't been as successful as we would like. The management, the behind the scenes has left a little bit to be desired. So we've been approached by a company called Bonavita Benefits. They're a member of the NLA. They've been to a few of our shows. I think Jason Chernow, I think you're familiar, and a few other board members. So their company is a member. They run, that's basically what they do. They're a benefits company. They do health insurance, life insurance, etc. And the idea is, and I included the information in your board packet, is the only change that we really need to make is to change, to make them the broker of record. And then they can take over managing the program. We can expand some of the offerings. They have a much better, what I'll say, sort of back-end system. They have a larger administrative staff to be able to handle, the issues that arise from time to time, and really seem like they are ready, willing, and able to kick this program up a notch and really improve it for our members, improve it for the NLA, and make it the member benefit and resource that we were hoping it would be, but it just hasn't quite gotten there yet. So like I said, I included their presentation. Hopefully everybody was able to take a look, but the only really thing that we need to do is just make them the broker of record, and then they can take over the program and make it more successful.
I was on a couple calls with them, and they're impressive, and they're very responsive, and certainly more responsive than the group that we've been using. So Kyle, what do we want to do? Do we want to have a vote on this to see? if we
Yeah,
want to change
a
over?
simple, submit, we can write up the language, but basically just a motion to, make Bonavita Benefits the broker of record for the NLA health insurance program.
All right,
Jason Sharonell has a question.
go ahead, Jay.
You're on mute.
Yeah, so I've got quite a bit of experience with this firm. They handle the insurance for me and my family personally, as well as for my business. Phenomenal company, and Phil, who I've got a kind of direct line to, just keeps his foot on the pedal at all turns. He's helped us through some challenging things, and one of the things I think that's interesting is they're able to bring in Blue Cross into the program now, which we haven't had access to in the past. And depending on where you live, Blue Cross is the carrier of choice for many markets. So I fully support them. They're a great firm. Very happy with them.
Okay. All right, so do we have a motion by anyone to change to Benavita?
Carl, do you mind?
I have a question.
All right, Robert, go ahead.
Okay, so the other health insurance program was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. They didn't pay claims. My company are still fighting to get claims paid. So this is a new health insurance program, and how is it benefiting the NLA?
Same program, couple of different new offerings, but it's benefiting. It's benefiting the NLA, and it's also benefiting the members that are in it currently to be able to manage and pay out claims quicker because they have a more abundant, administrative staff who has the bandwidth and the know-how to handle those claims. And it's going to benefit the NLA. So we'll have a larger revenue share than what we have previously once we hit certain numbers that are in the health insurance program. Yeah, we've been working
All
with
of the other companies, they weren't paying claims, not managing them. They just weren't paying them.
Right. So that and I don't want to speak with the back end issues. I know we're working with a couple of member companies. I know yours is one of them to alleviate those concerns, make sure those claims get paid out. I don't know why they haven't been, but the idea is, yes, we're going to settle those issues will be settled, but also ideally those issues will not happen in the future because this company is better able to manage.
How many do we have any idea how many are on the program, Kyle, or how many companies or how many people?
Not many anymore. I think we have probably about 18. We used to have, in the 30s and the 40s, and it was growing every month. And then the issues started piling up. And, I think there's probably a handful of folks on this call that were once part of the program that probably are not any longer.
It sounds like the company that was handling it just wasn't doing their job, and we're trying to move it over to someone that's better. So this will be a good benefit for our members.
And are we able to make a clean break from the previous broker?
So that's just it's changing the broker of record. So that's a letter. It's a piece of paper that allows the change to be made.
So do we have a motion? Or go ahead, Jay.
I'd like to make a motion that we make the change broker of record to Bonavita Benefits.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
A
I can second that.
Thank you, Rick. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Okay, so that passes. We will change the broker of record, and hopefully this will turn the program around and give us a lot better service and get the claims paid. Thank you. Thank you, Kyle, for working with them.
Yeah, of course.
Next, we're going to hear from the committees who have met in the past month or two and have updates to share. Let's start with Kevin and Tracy from the Charity Committee.
Kev, do you want to go or do you want me to go? You're on mute, honey. I'll go ahead and get started. We have a lot of really, really nice contributions that are coming in from all over the country. Thank you to everyone that is working on them. We've got several that are over the $1,000 level. Kevin's got Charlie Grimm putting an Alaska package together. We've got baskets from different regions, different areas, and it's truly coming together very nicely.
Okay.
I
Kevin,
think
did you
obviously we got Tracy Ramers put some nice stuff together. Obviously, there was some from Melinda Boyer. She's got some great concert packages coming. So there's a lot of good stuff going on. We're coming together right now. And for anyone that's on the board that would like to participate, and has some stuff, we definitely will take some more.
Okay. Anyone else? Any other questions for the charity committee? One of the questions that I heard was someone would like to know, some people would like to know where the money is going that we raise for the charity. And I think what we discussed was that we're going to raise the money and then we are going to pick out charities with the PR committee to use charities that we can publicize and can, well, not publicize, but use that we have some parallels with in our industry. Is that something, Rick, that we, from those discussions with PR?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
'cause
that's what we discussed.
Yeah, the thinking is we can get more bang for the buck and get more notoriety and have it work synergistically instead of just a little here, a little there. We want to make it as, as powerful as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that was the intention this time, Brett, was to basically raise the money in the East because you can't do it in the West. So to get the money together, then probably maybe on December at our meeting, we can come together as a whole and decide who we'd like to actually share that or cohabitate with on that.
Okay. Maya, I saw your hand. Tracy, I'll get to you next.
All right, so how will bidders or buyers participate? Is this just in person or is there also an online component?
At this point, we've kept it as an in-person silent auction, just keeping it simple so we don't have additional costs involved.
And I can take that stuff further. So yeah, I'm in the middle of, so every time we get an item, so I do have a website that we're able to use and it doesn't cost us anything. It's a charity auction website. So what's good is each item will have its own QR code that can go right on the display in front of it. The auction itself has a QR code. So if you want to go and peruse all of the auctions, so I guess technically we could send it out to the industry a little bit prior to the show if we want, and we can we can end it at the Tuesday at the show, and people that aren't there, if we want, I don't want to speak for the decision makers, but if you want to have folks that are at home not attending the show bid, we can do that because you just put in your credit card. If you don't want that, that's fine too. We can just keep it as an on-site time.
It sounds
The
like
more bidders, the better.
Yeah, I agree, Tracy.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah.
Tracy Raymer, you had a question?
A comment, yes. So I think it's important for the viewers that are watching, as Tracy stated, that we do have several baskets or packages that are being created, that if you are an operator and you would like to support the industry or would like to take part by donating transportation, round trip transportation, we can include it in a package that's already being created. So for an example, we've got Tiffany of Motive that is donating gift cards to be used towards an airline tickets for the Chicago package. So if there's anybody out there that would like to take part and be part of the silent auction, I'm sure that we'll have packages that you can be part of.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. Any other comments or questions? All right. Thank you very much, Charity Committee. This has really just come together well in the last month and a half or so. So good job with that. Now let's move on to Carl at DEI, I guess Carl and Tiffany, DEI Council.
Thank you, Brett. So the DEI Council has been working on a few things leading up to our fall show here in October. As we all know, the board will be going through the unconscious bias training at the October meeting, which will be performed by Lisa Johnson. She's a VP of Training and Development Services for Operations Inc. We've also worked on a session with the CDNLA Shows Education Committee for a session that's going to be revolving around the multi-generational workforce and how to harness the power of each generation to grow your business and move it forward. Other than that, that's really about all I have. I don't know if Tiffany has anything else to add to that. And that's all I have for you.
Okay, well, thank you very much, DEI Council. A lot of hard work going on there. Next is
Is that excuse me, is that training in October or is that the December?
it's no, it's the meeting. It's the meeting that we have at the October show Sunday morning. All right, Tiffany, you're on Education Committee. Dave's not here, so why don't you go?
So the newly launched NLA Education Committee is very excited. We held our first webinar, and it was about LinkedIn, and it was an introductory session. We got great attendance, and people seem to love it. It was super interactive. If you missed it, don't worry. We're having another one I think it's next Thursday. Is that right, Kyle?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Even better.
Don't miss it. It's tomorrow. So, but it's really great. Tomorrow we're going to talk more about LinkedIn in your business and how your personal profile affects your business. But it'll be the same thing again, step-by-step information. Seems like people loved it. We're really excited. And so we'll be hosting more webinars. That's what we're looking forward to at this point. Just putting together more exciting content that's different and new and fresh. So yeah, see you tomorrow.
All right, thank you, Tiffany.
Tiffany, is it the same as the last one, just a repeat, or is it a second?
No, it's the second half, because the first half was really like kind of laying the groundwork for how you should kind of start your page and the beginner things. And now we're going to go a little bit deeper into expanding on sales, going into your business, LinkedIn. So it'll be a little bit more of a deeper dive.
Is there a recording available from the first one for those who missed it?
Yes, there is a recording available, and I believe it's on the NLA website.
So there's a webinars and live streams page on limit.org. You do have to be logged in as a member to access all of the recordings. So that one is on there along with the PDF checklist from that event. If anyone has any trouble logging in or needs the recording emailed to them, just let us know.
Thank you.
All right.
One more benefit of being a member.
Thanks. Tiffany, thank you very much. And this committee, it's great because a lot of our smaller members, we want to give them more benefits, and this committee is doing a great job doing that. I listened to the first LinkedIn session, and the expert was fantastic. She knows everything about everything on LinkedIn, and I'm looking forward to hearing her again tomorrow. But it was very informative. I don't know how you found her, but great job. Anyway, let's move on to our legislative, and we have Jeff Rose, and we also have Matt on to talk about the Cornerstone Agreement. So I'm not sure which one of you would like to start.
I don't think we have Matt.
Oh, Matt's not on?
I don't believe so.
Oh, I thought Matt wasn't well. Then Jeff, you will talk about the Cornerstone.
Well, actually, I was not involved in any of those discussions.
All right, then I'll talk about the Cornerstone Agreement. Why don't you do legislative?
Okay. Well, legislative right now, there again have been discussions about addressing national issues on the local level and local issues on the national level. But right now, there's really not a ton to be done in Washington because all of the Congress people are out running for office. So basically right now it's more about raising money and running. Not a lot is getting done right now. So I think until after the election, there's not going to be too much done in the way of lobbying. And we will talk about the fundraising side of this when we get to PAC.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jeff. Thank you, legislative. And I'm going to leave the Cornerstone Agreement aside till we get to the end. So let's go to membership. Sean, Kareem, and Doug.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. Membership has been quite active recently, especially yesterday with our Know Before You Go live webcam or live web broadcast. But it worked out very well. We got to meet a lot of new attendees and a couple of them that actually won the scholarship for this show. So it was a great experience to be a part of, and we're going to continue to do that for all, I think about every show that we do. We're going to have a Know Before You Go event. Outside of that, we do have some affinity programs that we wanted to talk about that the committee has basically, as a committee, approved. And Sarah, is this the time for you to bring them up so everybody can see them?
I think Kyle's going to bring those up.
So basically, we are showing you these because the committee is recommending that we allow them into the affinity program, and we're definitely looking for your approval so we can rubber stamp that and move forward with this process. So just basically take a look at it, and if anybody has any issues with any of the companies, then please share. Hopefully you all may have read your data before you got here. So does anybody have any questions or whatnot? Essentially, we're ready to find out if you guys want to do this. We'll allow them on.
The background checks, I'm wondering how extensive those are, how nationwide. Is there any way, I mean, we pay actually a significant amount more than that for background checks, so I'm interested in this, but I'm curious to know how comprehensive it is.
So
I spoke with them at the last Lange meeting last week, and from what I gathered, Jeff, it is a national, local and national search that they perform, and some of it is restricted by state as to what they have access to, but it is a national search.
It's not like an FBI search or a fingerprint background, so it doesn't go into that depth, but it goes into the depth that most people are concerned with. And
Social security number, addresses. I mean, there's a lot of things that they cross-check.
Yes.
Jason, would you imagine that most of those places that do the national criminal background checks use the same systems to find the information out?
100%. There's no secret sauce to how they get access to it. It's also regulated by the Fair Credit Reporting Act that they have to follow the regulations of. So they only get access to the same databases.
Gotcha.
And each person that's actually getting their background check must sign a waiver stating that they're okay with it.
Yep.
So we need a motion, right?
We definitely need a motion, yes.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second the motion.
Well, I don't know if that's for me to speak or the president to speak. Did we lose the president?
Anyone, sorry about that. Any other discussion? All right, then all in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, this passes. Good job, guys. Thank you.
I just want to add one more thing about membership. If I could back up a little bit, we had another Zoom. I don't know, was it this month or the month before, Sarah, where we had just a member Zoom?
I think it was the beginning of August.
Beginning of August. You know, we should really talk moving forward about education and membership, and maybe we could kind of merge those Zooms together, because I don't want to dilute it, because we've been doing so good with it, you know, with the people that are on it. And if we end up, you know, education has one and membership has one, you know, maybe it becomes too much. You know, maybe we got to take a look at that, you know, because if we just don't get the participation if we do too many of them, I think.
Yeah, I think you just want to be mindful of that. Each of those have also very different purposes, where like the NLA Connect member events have really been more of a networking mixer, and the education committee is looking to bring in more outside expertise and, focus on things, like the LinkedIn, like, job training and all that kind of stuff. So, you can kind of try to find ways to maybe combine them a little bit, but you don't necessarily want to dilute the goal of either one. So I think we just, and this is something Kyle and I have already talked about as well, is just planning out like next year's schedule, like well in advance, so that, if we're doing one thing live stream a month, I don't think that's too much. It's just making sure that they're not all on top of each other. This is obviously a unique week with Know Before You Go and the webinar, but we can, have it in our minds as we do the strategic planning meeting and things, just to make sure it's spread out enough.
Really, I don't want anybody stealing membership's thunder, but I don't want to say it like that.
Well, I think your thunder is safe.
All right, good.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Next, let's go. Actually, Matt is on the call right now. So Matt, would you like to fill us in on the Cornerstone Agreement Amendment 24, 2024 to 2027?
Yeah, absolutely. How's everyone? Good to see everyone. Jeff Rose and I, as co-chairs of the Legislative Council, we were approached by Cornerstone, as they did need a contract revision from us, and I'm pulling it up. I apologize.
Matt, I can share it if you'd like.
Oh, go ahead, share it, Kyle. So we'd originally, when Brett and I were co-chairs, we had done a 1-year agreement with Cornerstone, and needed a renewal. This time around, we're going to extend for a 36-month term. As you can see, they're trying to get us back up to pre-COVID numbers for our contract agreement. As you all know, they did take half during COVID from us for an extended amount of time. I think it was. Do you remember, Brett? How was it? It was over.
They went down to half, and then when COVID, even though we were booming for a while, we did not go back up, and then we went up to maybe about 80% of where we used to be. And I think by 2027, we might be back to where we started. It might even still be a little less than what it was in 2019. So they've been great partners, and I only have the highest regard for them.
Correct. Yeah, and we agree. So we do want to so when they reapproached us for the contract, we're still below pre-COVID numbers of $17,000 for this year of 2024 to 2025, with $1,000 a month increase in 25 to 26, and then $19,000 a month for 26 to 27.
What are we currently paying per month again?
16, which is still lower than where we were 5 years ago.
Well, was it pre-COVID, Brett, for everybody?
Yeah.
I want to say it was like 19,250 or 18,750. One of those.
It was, yeah, I was going to say it's right at, I don't have the original contract pre-COVID since I wasn't on the board at that time, but I believe it was around 19,000, which is what we're looking at for 26 to 27.
Yeah, and it's funny, in the years during COVID, we probably had Cornerstone doing more for us than they've ever done, and we were paying them half. But so I don't know. I think they've been a great partner, and this is something that I feel very strongly should get renewed, and so does Matt.
Do we need a motion for this?
Make a motion to accept this new agreement.
Thank you, Jason. Do I have a second?
Second.
Carl, thank you.
Second.
All right, Robert, you're a little slow. You're third, but okay. Anyway, all in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Okay, that passes. Matt, thank you very much. You can stay on if you like, or you can do your RMA work.
I gotta jump off. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
See you.
Thank you for joining us.
See
Appreciate
you all
it.
in, see you all in DC. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Matt. Anyway, now we're gonna get to the PAC committee, and that is gonna be Maya and Jeff.
All right. I'll try and keep this under 90 minutes, maybe. No. So there are two parts to PAC. One part is taking the money in, and the other part is giving the money out. I'm going to let Maya speak to the PAC activities coming at the show, but I did want to go over a couple of things here. What we're trying to do is get strategic in the monies we give out, and there are two dynamics that we deal with. One is, certainly is this somebody who's aligned with our views? People get very cynical. We're paying people to vote our way, and it just doesn't work that way. If somebody is inclined to issues that are not favorable to us, they're not going to change their vote because we gave them money. What we do is we want to get behind the people who are supportive of our issues, or at least open to supporting our issues. And there is a risk-reward factor that we deal with. It's Chuck Schumer is very powerful, but you give money to him, everybody gives money to him. You're just paying tribute, and it's a drop in the bucket. The folks who really need our money are the folks who will be most grateful for our contributions, the ones who are in tight races. But of course, there is the risk that we may give money to somebody who doesn't win. We thought about reaching out. We did reach out to Larry Hogan's people. He is the former governor of Maryland who is running for the Senate in Maryland. It is a blue state. He is a very moderate, very supportive of business, centrist, can talk to everybody on both sides of the aisle, Republican. And I don't want to take too much of Maya's stuff, but they said, well, for him to show up, you're going to have to raise X amount of money. And there were different issues of, well, he needs the money and he'd be very supportive of us, but we don't have a lot of time to raise the amount that they wanted. We were concerned that, he could lose, but we have to be adults and understand that some of the folks we give money to may not win their races. But the flip side was that if we couldn't raise the money in time, that would severely diminish our stature and our reputation within the political fundraising community. So we took a pass on that, but they have asked if we could support him. And again, this is somebody that we, and by we, I mean the committee and Cornerstone, strongly believe in supporting. We feel that he can be one of the persons in the Senate who can bridge the two sides of the aisle, because he can talk to everybody on both sides. So we would like to make a contribution to him, even though we weren't able to get up a large enough pot to get him to come to our event. There are two other congressional candidates that we would like to give money to. They are both members of the Problem Solvers Coalition, if you will. These are middle of the road, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but these are, shall we say, centrist, moderate congressional members and senators on both sides of the aisle. Well, that now I'm getting into caucus, but that's the I'm confusing no labels, which is not which is urging people to take more centrist positions, with the Problem Solvers Caucus, which is an actual caucus of congresspersons and senators. There is a gentleman by the name of Don Bacon, a Republican from Nebraska, and a Jared Golden, who's a Democrat from Maine. And Louis has suggested that we strongly support these people. There are other factors that go into it. Are they on committees that help us? Are they on transportation? Are they on small business? Are they on finance? Health and Human Services doesn't help us that much. So Louis is recommending, and the PAC is supporting, contributions of $2,500 each to Don Bacon, Jared Golden, Larry Hogan. And we look to be making those checks payable. And of course, Cornerstone will leverage those checks for meetings where they can buttonhole staffers and the Congress people themselves and get a more intimate opportunity to explain our issues. And of course, we have to work on raising money. And it would just be so much easier if everybody participates. I'm not just talking about the board. I'm saying if every member of the NLA gave $10 a month to the PAC, we'd be in clover. But we do need everybody's support in getting all the members to step up to the plate. And of course, some people could do 20 a month or maybe even 50 a month, and some people will just want to write a check. You know, if we thought we had greater buy-in on the Hogan, we probably could have committed to raising that money in time for him to show up at our PAC reception on Sunday in DC. So again, this is an area where everybody has to pitch in a wee bit, because if everybody pitches in a wee bit, whether it is writing the check or turning over your credit card, or like Amway, sorry, politics is a little like Amway, reaching out to other people to get them to throw a couple of bucks in, it gets much, much easier. Maya, I will turn it over to you now.
Hello, Jeff. I'm just amused at the beginning. You said you're going to let Maya talk. Usually people have to try to stop me from talking. But there we go.
Poor
Here we
verbiage,
go.
my apologies.
All right. So as Jeff mentioned, we are having a PAC donor reception on Sunday night. And of course, all board members are invited, and all of our PAC donors for the last political season, so that would cover 23, 24, are also invited and will receive invitations. But do not fear. If you have not already donated to PAC and would like to attend our lovely reception, there is still time to become an official PAC donor. One of the things that we are focused on in the PAC committee this year and plan to end strong is to get more of the monthly reoccurring donations from our membership. So it's, you know, historically we've gotten people who donate to the PAC and they're writing huge checks. And I think it's in the past has felt like a barrier to people who want to get involved, but they don't think their modest contribution would make a difference. I am here to tell you your modest contribution, NLA members, makes a difference. So we are asking each of the board members to help us to find 5 monthly reoccurring donators for PAC to the tune of $20 a month. If you can't get $20 a month from people, $10 a month. But this allows us to continue to have a true say in what happens in the halls with the legislators to advance the issues and concerns of small business owners. So there is a monthly contribution form that Kyle just put into the chat, and I would encourage you all, if you are not already a reoccurring donor, to please become that. And certainly I'm asking each one of you to get 5 more people to be reoccurring donors. That is it, and that is all for me for now.
All right. Well, thank you very much, PAC committee. And what they're proposing for the 18 board members is not something that is insurmountable or something that you can't do. It's probably just 5 phone calls for you. So please do that. It means a lot that we can take, you know, make these donations to the 3 people that we're making it to, and that we can continue doing this and show relevance in DC, because so much of what we do from a regulation standpoint comes back to our relationships there. So thank you, Maya. Thank you, Jeff. Really appreciate the work you've done. Does anyone have any questions for Maya or Jeff? Okay, let's move on to PR. Jason and Rick, please.
All right. So the research report from the GBTA and NLA has been completed, and it's already posted in the members portal for GBTA, and it will soon be uploaded to the member portal of the NLA. From that report, Evans did a press release called Safety, Sustainability, and Cost Drive Today's Business Travel Ground Transportation Strategies, according to new research. And it reached a potential audience of over 200 million across 560 outlets. And number 3, you can see some of the publications that picked it up and their readership. So that's turned out to be a really good piece. And Evans is continuing to leverage this report to get us more press. Next report is our Limo Airport report. And this draft is under review to be finalized. We're really close. And the deck is going to be presented at the upcoming AGTA conference, TTA, IATR, and of course at the CDNLA show. And one of the stories that was garnered from the GBTA report was a story in Business Insider with a senior correspondent, Emily Stewart, who interviewed Brett to discuss the state of the limo industry, focusing on its evolution and the trends observed by NLA members. So that report has proved to be very valuable for us, and we look to be doing much more with GBTA in the future, which we'll be discussing at a later time.
All right. Rick, do you have anything to add?
No, I mean, that was great report, but I just wanted to remind everyone that, you know, the GBTA NLA research paper was that thing that you had all approved last year that we decided to spend. I forget what the amount was. Was it 60,000, Kyle? That we allocated for them to do this study. And we got a lot of mileage out of it because, you know, there was a big to-do at GBTA itself. They had Robert and I on one of the panels where they had a moderator that went over the initial findings of the study. And as you can see, garnering almost 200 million potential reaches. It was money well spent. And I think what it really has done is increase the profile of our industry with something that they're talking about, travel buyers. I mean, I noticed it at GBTA, they're talking about our industry again. They're interested in us. They're interested in what we have to do. And I think it's great that we did that. And on the other side, the research paper that we commissioned the City University of New York to do, that is almost finalized, even before it's been finalized and it's out there, it has generated so much interest because what they did is they reached out to the airport administrators all across the country to get their input on it. And people are talking. If you're in some of those groups and some of those associations, you'll see it. I know that they've asked me to come and speak at the IATR convention that's going to be in Fort Lauderdale in the next couple of weeks. And they have a panel of other people from the ground transportation industry, and the administrator from San Francisco Airport who is one of the best airports in the country as far as our industry is concerned. He's going to be there to shed some more light about it. So we're really raising the collective consciousness of all the decision makers at the airports all across the country by what we decided to spend this money on. So I think it's really accomplishing what we wanted to do, and we're all very thrilled with the kind of results that it's getting.
All right.
This is Tracy. I have a comment. Great job to the PR committee and Jason and Rick for collaborating and partnering with
We're a good team.
GBTA. Yes, great job. I think with this information, with the report and the stats that are in the report, maybe Evans could work with the NLA. And remember, during COVID and coming out of COVID, we had the PR toolkits that we had access to as operators, that you could take that toolkit and use it for your own marketing brands, if you will, in that we take some of the information from this report and teach operators how to use that, how to share it with their own customers and brand.
Great idea, and they've already suggested that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, they've already said they're going to put that together for us.
Like a white paper.
Exactly.
All right, thank you. Yeah, these reports are critical for us to move forward, especially with PR. And if you look at that report about with travel managers, a lot of them don't even know we exist. We need to be front and center again, and I am going to push with the PR committee to get more of these reports done so we can use it for the PR of our industry. Some of the other things that we discussed with Rick and Jason were having certain reports about that it's safer for insurance companies to work with livery companies, not not TNCs, because we're getting in the same, thrown in the same bucket with everyone that has a livery plate. So we have to show reports to, different industries, so hopefully we can get better rates. There's a whole bunch of things that PR is working on, and great job, Rick, great job for the whole committee and Jason. Thank you. Now let's
I
go
just
to.
want to add, can I add one thing? I got the last word always. About the toolkit. I don't remember which call we were on, Sarah, where that came up in conversation. Maybe that's something that education can do to, open up that toolkit again, and maybe, get the members to start to circulate that and use that and show them how to use it on a Zoom call.
Yeah, so we're actually right smack in the middle of redesigning the entire limo.org website. As you all know, we're also doing a membership transition, database transition, which Kyle will talk about. So one of the pieces of that is updating not only the PR toolkit and making it more efficient and streamlined for members to use, but also the Business Resource Center, which is something that the Education Committee is working on. So our goal is that once we go live with the new site, we're going to likely do a live stream that we can record and give to members to walk them through how to access everything. It's going to be so much easier for members to log in and to be able to access all of these member exclusive benefits like the toolkit and like the Business Resource Center.
Great.
So that's all in progress. It's just going to be a couple more months.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and Brett, you're absolutely right. It's a propaganda war. And Rick, even though and something to think about, maybe get out to all of our members at the association, because there's a lot of travel buyers who are not members of GBTA. So if the members of the NLA bring it to their buyers to say this is how to do things properly and safely, you'll get much more bang for your buck as well.
Yes, agree.
Great idea. All right, thank you. And now let's move on to scholarship. Maya and Kevin. Who would like
I'm
to
back. I'm as a mute, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so scholarship's going great. We got together last week. Was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. Got together last week and we picked out our winners, and so that's going great. And Sarah's done an amazing job as always, helping us out, getting that done. And everything's going good. So I'm looking forward to meeting with them at the show. And we're going to, again, Sarah, did we decide if we were going to ask some of the board to help us out with maybe mentoring, or at least being together with some of these scholarship winners?
So I give kind of first crack at it to the scholarship committee members, since they participated in picking the winners. But I know Tracy Salinger has already volunteered to serve as a mentor for one, just to give them each an individual contact for the show, because we all know what an overwhelming experience it can be, and we don't have a first timers event at this show. So the 8 winners will be joining the board for lunch on Sunday, where they can meet everybody. And in the meantime, I will be connecting them each with a winner. So if anyone's interested and really wants to participate as a mentor, let me know, and I'll match you up with somebody. And we'll also be doing our orientation call with them next week to go over the show.
Didn't you say you're going to have one called Follow the President?
No, because I'll be following the president everywhere, and there's not.
Sorry, Brett. Just wanted to help you out.
I think she said follow the ex-president.
Right. So
thank you for the
our
suggestion.
one other thing. So one of the big initiatives that we said we would do this year is just following our previous scholarship members into the next year and giving good information and reporting to the membership committee. So we are finishing that up after the show, because we want to see how many are going to go to this fall show that were scholarship recipients for the Vegas show, and then be able to follow up, with membership. Who can we expect to retain as members, and give feedback on their first year's experience for those that were new.
That's great. Great information. And thank you for the time you put into this. There's a lot of, how many applications were there, Sarah?
It was a little bit lighter this year. It was about 13. We usually get over 25 for the Vegas show. One thing that was interesting is we had mainly applicants from the Southeast and international. So we do have 3 international winners this year from Italy, England, and Portugal.
Awesome. Awesome. It's great.
And Sarah, when you reached out to
Cool.
them, they were ready to come. They were good.
I'm waiting to hear back from one, but it has been less than a week, and we all know how distracted everyone can be from email, but most of them have already gotten everything set up and are very excited.
Great. Awesome.
Great job. Great. Thank you, guys. Now let's go to show education, Carl and Jay.
Thank you very much. We are super excited for the upcoming show. The Education Committee has been full throttle in getting all the programs all together. Chris did a nice job in outlining a lot of the stuff that's happening at the show, but I just want to just briefly talk about some of the sessions that are not to be missed. First one is, under the radar, safeguarding against digital danger zones. So many of us have fallen prey to fraud things and getting hacked and everything else. And we're going to do a terrific dive into that. I could talk about my own experiences over the last year and a half of getting hit multiple times. But everybody has a story. So we're going to start with that as our kickoff seminar, followed by an AI session. We have an outside speaker, Thomas Wilform, who's an expert in AI technology. And then we have another really cool session on Sunday, behind the scenes with the Education Committee. We wanted to put this on to give the general membership a chance to see what goes on, see how the Education Committee works, to see, how we formulate these sessions and the ideas. And, so many, we start with maybe 12, 15, 18, sometimes, 25 session ideas. And, many of them obviously fall to the cutting room floor. But we take them all in. We take the feedback from previous shows. We take submissions from, operator members, from vendors, all sorts of people that, give us submissions to go over, and everything is fully vetted. There isn't anything we just say, no, we're not going to do. We look at it, we examine it, we see if it's a good fit, and if we can successfully put it on. So it's going to be a great session for everybody to, you can pelt us with questions, no holds barred. We will be as transparent as we possibly can, and it's a great opportunity for everyone to, give us feedback. And, as I always say from the podium, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like, because we don't hear it, we don't know, and we can't do better. And that's our goal, is to just continue to do better for everyone, at each and every show. A lot of other great sessions. We do have a number of other outside speakers coming in. A risk management and safety plan, super session. Looking forward to that. We have National Interstate and Lancer participating in that. And then on Wednesday, we have a deep dive further into safety. And then we also have Nicole Banks, who's going to be doing Beyond the Basics, Advanced Strategies for Leveraging Team Personalities. Phenomenal session on Wednesday. So we're really looking forward to everything. I'm super stoked about it. Carl, my partner as show education chair, I'll throw it to you if there's anything that you want to add into it, but we're hitting the ground running here.
Well, I think you pretty much covered all the bases there, Jason. One thing is, if anybody needs Sarah on Sunday between 1 and 2:15 p.m., she will be on stage with the Education Committee. So don't look for her, look for Kyle, which I know she's super pleased about. But as Jason said, the committee's been really going full throttle at this, and we're getting into the home stretch here and getting everything dialed in and finished up.
So all of the pointed questions that are controversial, make sure you direct those at Sarah.
Honestly, that's actually probably for the best.
Naturally,
No,
yes, naturally.
That's going to be a great session, because not only are you there to explain to people why, sometimes you have people, they come to shows for years and it's like, well, why do they go over that? Why do they do? They're going to find out now, and their suggestions will probably lead to many more great sessions of things that people want to hear. So awesome job with that. Any other questions for the show education? All right. Thank you very much, guys. And now let's get to Women's Leadership Council with Tracy Raymer.
Awesome. Thank you, Brett. Yes, so this committee has knocked it out of the park this time. This is going to be exciting. The Women in the Industry event is going to be on Monday, October 14th and it will start at 5:15 p.m. So right before everyone has their dinners planned. It'll be 5:15 to 6:45. So make sure that you have your dinner reservations after 6:45. The topic is going to be Start with a Vision. We've been able to secure speaker and author Leslie Grossman. Just a little bit about Leslie. She is going to bring clarity to what a personal vision is and walk us through the steps to arrive at a vision statement so that by the time you leave, you have your vision statement and you're ready to begin your journey to success. Leslie, she began creating leadership development programs for women, culminating in the launch of the Executive Women's Leadership Program at the George Washington University in DC. As an expert on women's leadership and success, Leslie speaks and develops women leaders by supporting them to identify their visions for success and reach their goals by embracing what she calls the 7 tenets of leadership. She has been on a path to reach her own vision by teaching, coaching, speaking, and writing. Her 3rd book is coming out this month named Start with a Vision, and women attending this event will all receive a copy when they leave, a signed copy. So for all the women out there, make sure you attend the event on Monday.
Any questions for Tracy?
If
All
men
right.
attend, do they get a signed book?
I think you have to pay. No, you will.
All right.
No, you receive one.
Okay, well, Tracy, thank you very much. That should be a great event. Now, I guess it's me. We're going to go to the president's report. And I have a few things I'd like to go over today. My report, the first thing is I just want to talk about the fall show. As we all know, the meeting at the fall show is on Sunday, October 13th. We start at 9 a.m. We will cover our normal business during the first half and attend the unconscious bias board training for the second half. In the next week or so, you will receive a board schedule for the fall show. This is something I really want to emphasize, how important it is that as a board member, you are present, engaged, and all pitching in to ensure the show has as much success as possible. If you can't make an assignment that we're going to give you to be at certain sessions, you, not Kyle and Sarah, have to switch with someone else to be there. We do not want to have no board members or a few board members at certain sessions or at every session. So you will have assignments to be at different sessions. You must be there. And if you can't, don't bring Sarah and Kyle into it. Switch with someone that you know will definitely be there. And please don't do it at like 3 in the morning when no one remembers what they talked about. So that will make the show as successful as possible. The sessions that we're running are going to be great. And I just don't want to hear, well, I didn't see anyone from the board there. So this is just very important. So please do that. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay, great. The next thing I want to discuss is going along with the shows. We're going to be assembling another committee that will focus on vendor, exhibitor, and sponsor outreach and relations as it relates to the show. Thankfully, Tim Rose and Jay Chernow have agreed to chair this committee, and we will share more as we begin to meet and set goals and accomplish them. This is just something that we feel our partnership with CD, we'd like to boost up what we can do and help each other out with the shows and get more vendors involved and more people at the shows. So that's something we will give you more information on that. But thank you very much, Tim, and thank you very much, Jay. I really appreciate you stepping up for this. And lastly, this is really a pet peeve, and I've been taking pictures of, on Facebook, you can take pictures of, if you're part of an organization, that you subscribe to a group and they post stuff, and then you click, you click on it or you make a comment, you get a score, and every week they post a score. The only people that I'm seeing on a bunch of the NLA stuff are very few people from our board. And I see Jason Kaplan a lot. I see Tracy, I see Robert, and there are points attributed to this. And I've probably missed a person or two, but it doesn't really help us out if we have Haley, who is doing our social media, posting stuff on Facebook, and no one is liking it, sharing it, making a comment. At the very least, like it and make a comment, because it's the way it expands our social network. And I hate to say it, a lot of us on the board post everything from friends, food, body parts, and more. That take some time once a week, once a day, once every other day. Go on, look at the NLA, what comes into your feed from NLA, like it, make a comment. You're part of this board. This is just one little thing you can do. And I really don't want to talk about this more, but I hate not seeing participation on this. So you've been elected to your NLA seat, and I'm hoping I can count on everyone to step up and show our enthusiasm for what's going on, and also for what's going on for another great event. And if you see posts by CD, it would also help to comment and like, because this just shares it with, it just shows that more people are enthusiastic about what's going on at the shows. So that's all, but that was a pet peeve of mine. What I'd like to do now is go to our executive director, Kyle, and can you please present your report?
Certainly. Okay, so last 5 pages of the, I think, record-breaking 111-page board packet. So thank you everyone for reading the materials in advance and being prepared. I think it definitely helped move this meeting along for sure. Okay, so as always, just going through some of the major projects that as a staff we've been working on over the last month. A lot of the things you've already heard about, all continuing all aspects of the fall show planning, budget, education, speakers, logistics, planning and executing part 1 of the LinkedIn seminar, which I think we can all agree went really well. And as we know, the second one is tomorrow. Beginning the transition to the new membership database that was approved back in June. This has been, quite an endeavor, but we're moving along slowly but surely. And the goal is to have this launched and ready to go, knock on wood, mid to late November, so that we are in time for our large renewal season starting in December, January, and February. So if we can have that rolled out prior to December 1st, we should be in good shape there. Same thing with redesigning limo.org. That's going fantastic. We've shared a draft of the homepage with Tim and Dave as chairs of the Tech and Social Media Committee. We're thrilled with it. It looks great. So we'll be sharing some more about it, as the project develops. So now they're in the phase of building out some of the sub pages. So everything is going along really well. And knock on wood, we're thrilled with it so far. Planned and executed the Know Before You Go member mixer that we had this week. Board nominations process. Which after that, we'll then move into the election process, coordinated the scholarship program, managing all of the logistics for the December meeting, association grant program. So again, everything that we've kind of talked about throughout the course of this meeting, we've had a hand in. And then, over the course of the next month, obviously, we're going to finalize all the logistics for the fall show, implement. You just approved 5 new affinity programs. I can't remember a time where we've ever had 5 new programs at once. So that's exciting in and of itself. We have 5 new programs to try to market in all different ways. Continuing the database transition, website, and then believe it or not, we're going to start planning the Vegas show, which we've already kind of talked about. So no rest for the weary. We're starting on one show before the next one is even over. But that's how we do it. So this one, I'll turn off to Sarah, and she can handle the membership report.
Thank you. So these numbers are as of the end of August. So right at that point, we had about 1,256 active NLA members. That number I do anticipate has jumped a little bit because we have been seeing a lot of renewals coming in, particularly from members who have maybe been lapsed a couple months, a year, which we do typically see leading up to the show as people are planning to register. They want to receive their NLA discount. So we are seeing that increase a bit over this month. We are getting to the point now where we are starting to see larger chunks of the membership up for renewal. So for September and October, we have 162 members up for renewal. And we are at about 244 new members at the end of August for this year. Again, that number will start to increase this month and next month, especially while we are at the show running the 50% off discount. Our goal, as Kyle said, is to really get the new software in place and ready to go prior to the largest renewal cycle between December and February, so that we can ensure that we can get the majority of the membership on auto pay in this renewal cycle, so that we will have a much higher retention rate likely next year. Because one of the biggest reasons we see members drop off their renewal is not because they don't want to be members, it's because they genuinely forget. So if we can eliminate that that concern for members, I think we will see next year a much higher renewal rate. So just kind of plugging away, getting people to join, renew, making sure that everyone is set leading up to the show. And that's all I got.
All right.
Sarah, I have a question about the renewals. Is there a component for ACH or is it just credit card?
It's credit card and check is typically what we take. We've taken ACH in kind of extreme circumstances if we have an international member. Our current system doesn't allow that easily. And the other problem we tend to find is that members do not take the banking fees into account, and then they end up shortchanging their dues. And then we have to go back and we're, chasing them for the rest of it. So it's not something that we've offered kind of universally up to this point. It's certainly something we can discuss as we get into the new database, but it honestly also has not been a big request from members in the past.
I just look at it from a retention rate. So people will change their credit cards, they'll get new numbers for whatever reason, but that ACH number is not going to change.
Right. Yeah. And again, it's something that we can certainly discuss with Rhythm as we get into, we're not at that point yet for the software, but it is something we will discuss with them.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Sarah. Great job, you and Kyle, as usual. And I've had the honor, I think, in the last 7 or 8 months now to sit in on about 200 meetings, and you guys just kill it for us. So thanks again. Now, let's just go over the next board meeting is Sunday, October 13th at 9 a.m. with breakfast available at 8 a.m. at Gaylord National. Kyle and Sarah, you'll send us what rooms and meeting rooms when we get.
Yep, I will update everybody should have a calendar invite. I'll update that with the meeting room information.
All right. And as we do after every meeting, we will now go into executive session. Thank you to all of those who joined our live stream. We'll be ending that shortly after this motion passes. Do I have a motion to enter executive session?
I make a motion.
I'm going to go with Tracy, Carl. I think she needs to. And Jason is second. So all in favor? I'm not a voter. Okay. Anyone against? All right. Thank you, everyone on live stream, and let's go into executive session. Thank you.
Yeah.